So we're gonna take a couple minutes, let people show up first. Hey guys, how you all doing? Ugh. So today I'm gonna be watching Jackson versus Major Bowman. Um, I believe this was round three of internets, round three of day two. Um, I'm not sure what record these players were on. I'm not entirely sure it matters. I believe Jackson ended up making top 8, and Bowman ended up making top 16. From talking to Bowman, this was not the best. This was not the best matchup for him. So first, I want to try and figure out why, and then from that, I want to try and investigate. How do you not throw a positive matchup? Because especially with Charizard teams, it's really easy to throw positive matchups if you just let rock moves happen and stuff like that, or if you just miss a heat wave when you need to. What's going on, Ben? How you doing? So this is going to be an exercise in making sure, in figuring out how to not throw games. What's good, dude? Mao 7. Okay, so seems like we got a few people going. So let's get started. So starting with team preview, Landorus, Gardevoir, Kartana, Tyranitar, Koko, and Incineroar versus Charizard, Raichu, Braviary, Landorus, Fini, Kartana. So you can see why this would be rough just from the start. Bowman's best way to hit Braviary is something like Tyranitar or Koko. And that means that, Koko gets beat by Raichu. Tyranitar often gets beat by Braviary itself with Superpower. And it's hard to bring Landorus or Incineroar into Braviary. So a lot of Bowman's tools aren't going to be very useful here. Gardevoir is usually kind of negative against Charizard teams. Check out this tiny little hat I'm going to wear for the stream. So Gardevoir is usually negative against Charizard teams because Charizard resists the main stab and can fire back with really powerful fire stabs of its own. So I would normally expect to see Charizard in this game. I think, you just go something like Raichu Braviary, set Tailwind up, you somehow prevent Gardevoir from setting up Trick Room, then you just quick Heat Wave, you have like Kartana in the back, and that should probably be enough. If your Raichu's bulky, Kartana beats Koko, Kartana beats Tyranitar, Kartana beats Incineroar, Braviary beats Incineroar. That's probably what I would go if I was Jackson, knowing nothing about Jackson's team. So if I'm Bowman, I probably want to bring Tyranitar, maybe something like Koko Gardevoir lead with Tyranitar and Incineroar in the back. Tyranitar in the back because you don't want to start out with your Sand against Sun. You want your Sand to come in the back. And Tyranitar just does a bunch of work here, and then you need Koko to try and help beat Braviary. This is overall just not particularly good. But that's what I'd be expecting from these players. I feel like the L that Bowman has... Oh, great. It's lagging. We're back. I feel like the L that Bowman has is a strong set of Pokemon. So that's what I would expect to see. Let's hop right into it. No, let's not hop right into it. Let's be unfocused. Kind of gross. Let's move forward a couple seconds. Okay, so we went Kartana Tyranitar. So I guess with this lead versus Kartana Braviary. Okay. So Kartana Braviary makes a lot of sense from Jackson. Let's just pause when we can see all the Pokemon. And Trantar puts up sand. Okay. So Kartana Braviary makes a lot of sense from Jackson as opposed to Raichu Braviary. Kartana Braviary is nice because Raichu's always in the back. You don't need to have Raichu out to make it be able to do its job. And you don't need Fake Out too much against this team, so instead you just bring a Pokemon that might have a Z move, threaten the Gardevoir, so maybe I'm expecting something like Grass Z from this Kartana. You know that Jake is unlikely to lead Incineroar and would be heavily punished for doing so, and you get a aggressive response to Tyranitar that doesn't require burning your tail. And from Jake, Jake thinks, okay, I have my Kartana, I can set up Tailwind. I'm not really sure he's going to get what he wants from this position, because Tyranitar is threatened by both of the Pokemon on the field, and you can't just Tailwind Protect because that loses to Braviary. So if I'm Jake, I want to maybe switch Tyranitar into Gardevoir and Sacred Sword Ben's Kartana, Sacred Sword Jackson's Kartana. Because Kartana wants to protect Braviary by hitting the Tyranitar, and you want to hit the Tyranitar. If you go for it with Grass Z, I guess you probably just win. So maybe you have to protect Tyranitar, but you can't protect Tyranitar because then it takes too much damage. So maybe you have to just hope that Jackson gets a bit greedy, doesn't go for Grass Z, goes for Sacred Sword, switching your Gardevoir on the Sacred Sword the opposing Kartana, and then figure out a way to get Trick Room back up. Figure out a way to get your Tailwind up second, so that way you have Tailwind for 1 or 2 turns when Jackson doesn't, and then take the game in those turns. That's kind of my game plan here. So if I'm Jackson, I still think I just go for, if I'm Grass Z, I Grass Z this Tyranitar. If I don't have Grass Z, I just Sacred Sword this Tyranitar and I Tailwind for sure. That's definitely my game plan. Okay, move, kid. Let's speed this up a bit. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so Jake goes with Protect, so he's just scared of the Grassium Z coming out. Jackson goes with Sub, because he's deciding to make a read on this Tyranitar's actions. That's fair. Tyranitar is always going to Protect here, or switch out or something. And Jake just goes for the Tailwind first. I really don't like that. This play makes no sense. Jake doesn't do anything with this play except get less far behind. So there's no position in which Braviary doesn't Tailwind there, because Tailwind's so advantageous for Jackson. So what you really want to be doing is you want to control the board and then get the second Tailwind up, so you have 1 or 2 turns of Tailwind where you can knock out the Braviary before it can get the Tailwind off, and then start exerting your pressure. I think the Tyranitar Protect is reasonable. If you don't know what item the Kartana is, you don't want to risk your yeah, you don't want to risk your Gardevoir getting Grass Seed, but I definitely would have gone for Sacred Sword into the Kartana there. I think that's just a way better way to handle this. Right, the Z's probably on. You should think that the Z's on Braviary or on Landorus, not on Kartana. Kartana has items it can run that are in Z, but Braviary tends to always be Fly Z. So I would not expect a Grassium Z to come out there. I definitely would have switched the Tyranitar. So I really don't like that from Jake. Jackson made a very fine play. Jake's Pokemon are threatened. There's no way Jake's doing anything that turn, so you just sub with Kartana. Hard to punish. It's better than detecting, and it gets you an aggressive sub. So, if Jake went for Sacred Sword, Kartana would have just taken 25% for the turn and used Detect at the same time. Not a big deal. But if Jake did what he did, you get a substitute up, and that's massive. Kartana went first. Okay, so the opposing Kartana put up a substitute. Yeah, so Jackson's Kartana went first. So that means, but then this Kartana went. So if you have Grass Z, which you probably don't, you go for it here. But I think you just honestly double up on this Tyranitar with Sacred Sword, Flyinium Z. If you get the KO with your Kartana, then you just win the game because Fly Z goes into Jake's Kartana, knocks it out, and then you've taken 2 KOs, and Jake can't take any KOs from here. Now, if you don't get the KO, say Trantar switches into something like... It could switch into Coco, I guess. That's a potential option, but I would still Sacred Sword. If Trantar switches into Gardevoir, though, you just get your Fly Z off, KO the Gardevoir, and then you're up a Pokemon, and Bowman still can't take a knockout here. So I think you end up +1 Pokemon no matter what you do if you double into this Tyranitar slot, unless Jake goes for a double Protect, and I think he might have to. You could double the Kartana. I just don't think it's worth it at this point in the game because you can take the knockout on this slot, and Kartana still has Protect Live. So I think you just go for the knockout that you definitely can get. For Jake, I have no clue what he has in the back, so I have no clue what he's supposed to be doing here. I think this is just a terrible position. Yeah, so there's a Trantar switch. There's the Gardevoir. Traces the Beast Boost, that's fine. There's the Grass Z, so it is Grass Z Kartana, not Flying Name Z Landorus. So I would have liked to see the Grass Z turn 1, but turn 2 is fine. And going for it now is also fine. I think that you go for it here if you have it. I'd like to see this followed up with a Superpower into the Trantar slot, though, just to cover a potential Incineroar switch-in. Sacred Sword breaks this up. Yep. Brave Bird's fine. It hits Incineroar pretty hard as well. I would have liked to see Superpower, but I don't think you have to go for it. Okay, so if you're Jake, you don't really have much choice as to what to send in here. Tyranitar does nothing, so I think you just have to send in whatever other Pokemon you have. If you send in Tyranitar, I can't come up with a game plan that has you winning the game. Okay, there's Tyranitar, but there's nothing. There's nothing. You just Sacred Sword, Brave. Okay, fine, you switch out Braviary. Like, Jackson can just not throw this game by doing pretty much any combination of moves. Landorus switch-in is fine. It makes it so that... Oh, he doesn't have Superpower. Oh, okay. It's his report I've been reading. How's it going, Lega, Raghav? Is he Rex Chaos? No. The report I've been reading is the one that had Salamence, not a Charizard report. And had Togedemaru. Okay, he had Whirlwind as well. And yeah, Brave Bird was still fine there. Whirlwind, yeah, Whirlwind to prevent Trick Room from getting set up. This Landorus switch is good, because you just, make the Kartana's Sacred Sword not KO your Kartana. So you just intimidate their Kartana, you Sacred Sword the... If you're doing this, you're Sacred Swording the Kartana. Yeah. I think it's correct to do so. Turns out the Tyranitar's foul play, so that doesn't work out that well. There's no way to know that. I think you Sacred Sword the Kartana there pretty much no matter what. Strong play from Jake. I didn't know that was possible, but you have to, not that was not strong plays from Jake are possible, but I didn't know that Tyranitar had foul play. I didn't know it was possible for him to take out a knockout on the Kartana this turn. That makes this game a lot closer. But I still don't think the outcome should change. I think Landorus in here controls the board a bit too hard. You go back into Braviary. 100%. Can't come up with any reason not to. Landorus should just KO the Tyranitar with Earthquake. Yeah, there's the Braviary. I guess you could have gone Feeny, but I don't think you bring Feeny to this matchup. Okay. If you're Bowman, what do you do here? I want to protect Tyranitar and get a Leaf Blade crit on Landorus, or switch into... Braviary clearly doesn't have Superpower, because otherwise it would have gone for it last turn. So I would probably just go for Earthquake Brave Bird onto the Kartana. Yeah, there's the Incineroar switch. So that means Trantar gets to stay alive, but this doesn't really matter. Trantar might be faster than Braviary, but that shouldn't affect anything. Yeah, there's the Brave Bird. It is slower, so that's... Oh, that's odd. Why would you do that? Set covers for the Intimidate, but I just don't think that ever KOs. I just think that Tyranitar is not really an active threat, and so you just take your KO with Landorus. You just take your KO by hitting it twice with Landorus. I think if you Brave Bird the Incineroar there, you're going to get a lot more mileage. Kartana comes in. Is this game over? So if I'm Bowman here, so if I'm Jackson here, I want to switch out my Landorus, Brave Bird, the Kartana. Kartana, I don't think KOs even with Fake Out Chip. So, and I want to get an Intimidate off on both of these Pokemon before I let my Landorus take a Leaf Blade. So Fake Out should be going into Braviary here, but I think I still want to switch out Landorus, and so maybe I switch out Landorus, protect Braviary. Depends on what I have in the back. If I'm Jake, I think I want to fake out the Braviary sub. I think that's my best way to win this game. Let's hope the Landorus switches. So maybe... No. Do you have to switch Landorus? What did Kartana take that damage from? Kartana got hit by a +1 Brave Bird, so I should know that this Kartana is reasonably bulky, I think. So I think I should know that it's not Z. No, Coco's a Z. Coco's a Z, and Kartana doesn't feel like a Z on this team. So I think maybe I should just double attack. What does double attacking do? So if Landorus Earthquakes and Incineroar gets KO'd, yeah, I would just double attack here, I think. And I think if you're Bowman, you have to hope. I don't understand this. That Tailwind play makes very little sense to me. Tailwind gets you no advantage here. Tailwind doesn't matter. I think you just take a knockout. There's no reason to set up Tailwind. The Fake Out Protect never happens, so setting up Tailwind doesn't beat any play except for double attack. But if Jake goes for double attack, then you just take a knockout on the Kartana with your +1 Braviary and you win the game. And if your Braviary gets knocked out, it doesn't matter. Like if you knock out the Kartana, you just win. If anyone in chat cares to, if anyone in chat wants to explain to me why you would Tailwind here, I'd be very interested. I don't think. I guess Bowman's... Oh, Bowman doesn't have sub. He has Tailwind, right? So you Tailwind there because you just make the setup play. Landorus is faster than Kartana. Earthquakes. Reveals Berry. Leaf Blade goes into Lando. Crits. No. I don't. Bowman's Tailwind is fine. Bowman's Tailwind I respect. I don't respect Jackson's Tailwind. The reason Jackson's Tailwind doesn't make sense to me... Yeah, this is game 1. It says it at the top, see? Yeah, so Jackson's Tailwind doesn't make any sense to me because the only reason not to Brave Bird Kartana is if you think Kartana's protecting. But Kartana never protects there. And so, because if Kartana protects there, then Incineroar can't do anything because it either fakes out Landorus and then does nothing, or it Flare Blitzes and gets Earthquake to death. So, Brave Bird the Kartana works 100% of the time. There's never a reason. Oh. I mean, it's super over, but it's just like, it's just about having good thought processes, you know? And so I think Brave Birding there is like the most clean thought process, and you're just like, okay, nothing matters, I just get the win, and it's game. No, we're cancel. Okay, so we're gonna escape. But yeah, game one was pretty well played. I think the substitute turn one kind of just sealed it because he didn't have superpower. Then the Landorus switch made a lot of sense. Brave Birding the Tyranitar was not something I was really interested in. I feel like Brave Birding the Kartana made a lot more sense, but Brave Birding the Tyranitar worked out, so, you know, can't really criticize it too much. But overall, relatively well played. It doesn't matter at the time, but it's nice to just always, like, it's nice to just every single turn make the right play. Okay, so what happens in game two? So in game one, Jake brought Kartana Titar with Incin Guardy in the back versus Braviary, Lando, Braviary, Cart, Lando, X. So Jake didn't bring Coco out of fear of the Raichu. I'm not sure I like that because I think Dazzling Gleam is pretty good. But Incineroar is important. You need to have your Charizard answer. So I guess Incineroar is the best one. You bring Gardevoir because it's pretty decent. Jackson showed he doesn't want to lead Raichu, so you could do something kind of wild like Incineroar or Gardevoir and hope that works out. You know, fake out Hyper Voice into Hyper Voice, maybe. This matchup just seems really rough. From Jackson, how do you mix this up? Braviary is fine. Kartana's fine. I would just do the same exact thing. I would do the same exact thing if I was Jackson. I don't think there's any real need to mix anything up. You know, sometimes when a game plan works, it just works. And I don't think there's much that Bowman can do to stop this game plan. Raichu Kartana is super broken against... Raichu Kartana Braviary is super broken. Yeah, so Jake does go Guardian Incineroar. Raichu Braviary, so Jackson leads Raichu instead in order to... So Jackson leads Raichu instead in order to get the fake out, predicting the thing. So I guess Raichu lead works well against this. I think I still would have done... I think I still would have led Kartana, because I just don't care. You can just go Grassy, Brave Bird, the Gardevoir, and then send in Lando, and everything should just work out. But this lead works as well. So, level 0 play, fake out the Incineroar, Brave Bird, the Gardevoir. Loses to something like Tyranitar switch in. I think it should just be fine. I don't know what Bowman does to beat that. I hear this turn's really cool, so I'm interested to see what happens, because I don't know how you could outplay fake out the Incineroar, Brave Bird, the Gardevoir. Thanks, Ben. I'm trying to do them more consistently. Okay. This was not supposed to happen. Yeah, like, if you ask me to, I will analyze that stream, for sure. I love to play you at Worlds. I would also note that our set record at official tournaments is 0-1 in favor of Lega, and it is only 0-1 in favor of Lega because I forfeited to him. Lega is far worse than I am. I will never lose to Lega at a real-life tournament. You can hold me to that. You can hold me to that. But yeah, no, so this Volt Switch is horribly wrong. This Volt Switch is the way to throw matchups. There is no reason to Volt Switch here. You just make the correct play, you put the moves in the slots. Sometimes the obvious play is just the right one. If you get the Brave Bird off here, you just win. If you don't get the Brave Bird off here because Incineroar is, if you don't get the Brave Bird off here because Gardevoir protects, you just Encore the Gardevoir, Brave Bird the Incineroar. Yes, Lega, that's because your teams are better. That doesn't change the fact that my real-life tournament record against you is very much in my favor. Anyway, so this Volt Switch is bad. This is bad. This should not have happened. Yeah, you take your time to think about this because you are really confused. Guardy Trick Rooms. Yup. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't supposed to happen. This is just a massive throw. I'm very disappointed. Now what do you do? 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 Protect Braviary. Jake has to double the Braviary. You don't know if Gardevoir is faster or slower. Jake has to double the Braviary. I would... Protect Braviary, switch in Raichu. That's what I would go for. I think that works out pretty well. I don't think Flare Blitz is going into Kartana here. I think you need Raichu in to get Fake Out up. Yep, there's the Raichu switch. There's the Protect. Okay, Jake decided the Kartana was a threat. Just went for it. Fair enough. Sometimes they just call you. Then you just lose. It's fine. It happens. Now you Brave Bird the Gardevoir. You hope your Braviary is slower. You Earthquake. Earthquake KOs Incineroar here. Does a bunch of damage to whatever switches in. You should be fine. No, this... is too hard of a read. Just make a good play. You just Earthquake there, you still would win this game. This matchup is so unbelievably good for Jackson. Can you guys not see me? Okay. So Lega's just an idiot. Cool. Okay. So that game 2 was terrible. It was just really bad. Um, Jackson got really fancy turn one, and I was talking to Bowman about this set when he was like, "Oh no, don't stream it." I was like, "Oh, why not? Was it a bad set?" He was like, "No, it was just really disgusting for me." But I won game two, so the matchup wasn't a complete auto loss. That's not true. This matchup is terrible. Just because you win a game doesn't mean the matchup is in a complete auto loss. Jackson had that game, and not only did he have that game, he just had to put the buttons in the slots. There was nothing there from Bowman if Jackson just fakes out the Incineroar turn one. There's no game to be had. But he got fancy and decided he wanted to Volt Switch. Oh, game three. Braviary plus whatever is fine. I have no clue what Jake leads. This matchup is so terrible. Braviary plus Raichu just because Bowman might do something stupid. I still like Braviary Kartana, though. I think Braviary Kartana would do fine. Yeah, there you go. Oh, no, see... Oh, no, this is fine. This is fine. This is correct. I was about to say that this was a massive misplay, but it's important to remember, same sides as game one. Critical information. And now Jake leads Coco, so he's like, oh, I'll be able to get this spread damage off. I think this is what I suggested Jake lead in the beginning of the game. I was like, oh, before game one, it was just like, oh, you get your spread damage off. This is hard. So, Raichu comes in, Coco Gloons, Guardy Hyper Voices. Kartana doesn't feel bulky. Jackson forfeit before. Revealing how bulky. Jake might want to switch in. Incineroar, Raichu could come in on the Kartana slot. You don't want to Tailwind here. Coco either goes all in or Gleams. So you Grass Z the Coco. And you switch into Raichu, because Raichu won't have much use once this Coco's gone. So even if your Raichu takes a ton of damage, you just make the Coco dead. And for Jake, I think he just has to pick. I don't know what I'd pick. Crap. Hold on one second. I kind of want to, like, if I'm Jake, I kind of want to switch into Incineroar here. But, okay. So, let's start this from Jake's perspective. So, from Jake's perspective, Raichu's either switching in or it's not. And Coco can do a lot if you want to make that read. If you don't want to make that read, you can go Incineroar, but that's making a different read, which is that Braviary is not Brave Birding this turn. And so Raichu can switch in on either slot. I personally would like Raichu... I think if Raichu switches in, it switches in on the Braviary slot. So I guess going for Incineroar switch in plus Hyper Voice is probably your best way out in this position. That might be what I would go for. I think it's, there's a decent chance Grass Z goes into Coco, there's a decent chance it goes into the Gardevoir, but at -1 you'd be fine. Your Gardevoir is faster than Braviary. I think Incineroar switch in and Hyper Voice is the best way to go about it. So Kartana is the one that switches out, so I would have lost this game. But it seems like Jake is also going to lose. But Jake also loses this game, so he decides that Raichu isn't switching in, goes for the Z. I think that's very reasonable. Oh, and he... No! No, you never Trick Room there. Do you not? Yeah, your Pokemon are just faster. Just... I guess the idea was Raichu comes in on the... Maybe the idea was that Raichu comes in on the Braviary slot, you give Volt Havoc into the Raichu, Kartana takes out the Koko, you Trick Room, you get the faster Fake Out with your Incineroar, and that works out? Oh no, my hat. But your play is to make a read. So his read was that double attacks would happen. Braviary never Tailwinds here. Yeah, I think Trick Room is just wrong. I think that you just want to start putting damage on the board. I don't like that Trick Room at all, and, you know, Bowman gets punished for it. Gleam Gardevoir switching. Oh no, Gardevoir switching. Foul play into the Braviary. Don't know if that would KO. I guess the idea is that, like... hold on. Oh, there it is. I guess the idea is that foul play KOs and then... No, I think you need Guardian... I guess the idea is you KO the Braviary, and then once Braviary is knocked out, then you can go Incineroar, Gardevoir, and win the game from there. So I guess that's fine. Protect on the Braviary was solid. I think I would have preferred to see something like Fake Out the Tyranitar and Landorus switching. But I guess this works out pretty well, actually. This works out pretty well. So now you just Earthquake. Braviary doesn't get knocked out by Life Orb Rock Slide. I think we saw that. But maybe it's with different amounts of chip. Landorus is Scarf. You already know. You can just tell. Yeah, and Jake doesn't have options. So this time he goes for not switching an Incineroar. No, what are you doing? Just put the pressure on the Pokemon. You don't need to Tailwind. You're faster than everything. You have your Scarf Landorus. It's faster than every Pokemon on Jake's board. Just don't Tailwind. Put damage on the board. It's free. It's easy. There's no risk. Just do the same play you made in Game 1. It's no risk. And there's no reward for Tailwinding. But yeah, this game should just be over. Just Earthquake, Brave Bird. But yeah, no, there's no reward. What? Yeah, okay. Whirlwind's fine. Prevents the Trick Room. I would like to see Brave Bird, but... No, I like Whirlwind there. Whirlwind's good. It prevents Trick Room from going up and then... sorry. Prevents Trick Room from going up and then you're fine. And here you want to see Fake Out Trick Room for 100%. Just guaranteed. But see that this Tailwind did nothing. It did literally nothing. And there was no way it was ever going to do anything. Trick Room's up. Protect Braviary, sack Lando. Send in Raichu, Fake Out Gardevoir, Brave Bird, and Cineroar. Yeah, game plan. Easy. This game plan never fails. Oh, and now your Tailwind ran out, so sure, fine. There's an argument to be made for faking out the Incineroar, so you don't get knocked. I like that. I think you fake out Brave Bird the Incineroar. Keep your berry. Oh. Never mind. You're supposed to not fake out the Incineroar. Shrug. Oh, Brave Bird KOs anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, you fake out the Incineroar there then. If you know that Brave Bird will KO. Withdrawing Raichu is fine, but I don't like it that much. Doesn't matter. That one literally doesn't matter. As long as you Brave Bird, you can't lose. So, we've learned an important lesson today on our stream. Put the moves in the slots. Don't throw winning matchups. It's pretty simple. No problem, dude. How long have I been streaming? I've only been streaming for 45 minutes. So, I should have enough energy to just do another round. Let's see if I can find one that's interesting. Pause. Chua. I don't know, guys. Do you want to watch Chua or Chua? No, Nightlight, I'm definitely gonna... I'm definitely gonna watch one of Paul Chua's games. This is combined total of 20 minutes. That's 2-minute game, okay. Paul Chua. So it looks like we're watching one of Paul's games. I think we're gonna watch Ian versus Paul, because that's likely to be quite short. No, I'm just gonna chill with these. They're close and simple. And honestly, like if you can tell me a mainstream match that's worth watching, I'll watch it. I haven't watched all the matches, so I don't know which ones are worth watching. If anyone wants to tell me a mainstream match that they want to review, then I'll do that. But until then, I'm just gonna go with this one. Oh, yo, Raghav, do you want to come on? You guys can't hear anything. It says my mic is... It says my mic is working. Can anyone else in the chat confirm? Okay. So you can hear. Yo, Raghav.
Hello?
Hey, guys. Can everyone hear Raghav?
Hello, hello, hello.
So you want to do... so I'm going to do Paul versus Ian. Because I can't think of... What?
Sounds good.
It's hyper offense, which is always good fun.
Wait, yeah. This is basically what he used in 17, except with the Charizard over Arcanine.
So this is game 1. I'm linking them all in the chat so you can... Actually, I'll just screen share with you so you can watch along as I watch along. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Stream Google Chrome. Share screen window. This might make my computer lag, so tell me in the chat if this is not working out. Okay.
All right. I can see it.
Cool. Let's load this up. Let's get this bad boy going. No, this is game 3. I think. Yeah, that's game 3. Game 1. Loaded it up. All fired up. Ready to go. So, team preview. If I'm Chalk... Okay, so I have no clue how Ian's team works. Do you have any idea?
I think you just kind of like Beast Boost with Smeargle, so you redirect and then you let your Ultra Beast do some damage, or you take advantage of them having a Zard weakness, and then like I think it's Scarf Lele. I'm not really sure.
Okay, so actually, hold up. I think I do actually have some idea how this team works. So
Okay.
I commentated Yale using this in the... Okay, Raghav, can you make that noise in the back go away? Cool. So I commentated Yale using this in the the Nashville Challenge, and I think it's Z Tailwind Kartana. And so what you do is you often lead Smeargle Z Tailwind Kartana. You just Z Tailwind, you throw out some crits, and then you send in like Charizard and a cleanup Pokemon. I think it might be... Do you know what item the Pheromosa is? Because I might expect it to be Buginium on this kind of team.
Yeah, either Buginium or Fighting Z. But I feel like Heatran's super annoying.
You there, Raghav? Hello? Okay, he's going to be right back. So I would want to lead Smeargle Kartana with Lele in the back for sure. Lele would allow me to preserve my terrain, make it so would allow me to use Spore on Pokemon. So if Paul switches in Feeny, you switch in Lele, use Spore. I think Kartana lead is just fine. Chalk has a hard time dealing with Kartana. And I probably want to bring Pheromosa in the back. I think Pheromosa does a pretty decent job against most of Chalk. You get bug moves, take Cresselia, and so forth. If I'm Paul, it's a bit harder. I might want to do something like lead Heatran Cresselia with Feeny Kangaskhan in the back. Heatran's really good against Charizard and most of these Pokemon. Cresselia, has Trick Room, and so your idea is to just let Ian spore and miss and like lose sleep turns and just not actually get his stuff off and miss crits and stuff. Um, just like let the hyper offense kind of offense through you and then win. And then Kang has fake out, which is really good, and sucker punch and all that good stuff that Kangaskhan does. So that's the way I would approach it if I see this in team preview. But the way I'm going to approach it right now is double my speed. So Paul knows what he's doing. At least shows pretty quickly. So you want Kang Crest. That's fine. You have fake out. I think, given that Paul didn't know what Ian's game plan is, I think this is definitely what I'd want to lead. You have your fake out pressure. You can switch in Feeney to preserve fake out. You have Cresselia, which is what you want to be leading because Cresselia is absolutely busted. I think this is just the correct way to approach a very good way to approach team preview from Paul, although I would have preferred to see Heatran. So turn 1. I want to see Kartana Sacred Sword Kangaskhan and Smeargle Spore the Cresselia. I think this Smeargle is Fake Out Spore, Follow Me, Wide Guard. That's what I would run if I was... Yo, Raghav, you back?
Yeah, but there might be a little bit of noise.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. So
yeah, I'm in my living room, so...
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So I said that Paul was supposed to lead Heatran, Cresselia with Feeney Kangaskhan in the back.
Yeah, I mean, Heatran's super good.
What? Yeah,
Heatran is super good.
Yeah. Paul decided not to lead it because he wanted to lead Kangaskhan instead, which I fully respect. Kangaskhan lead is just always good from Kangaskhan teams.
I think setting up the speed control for Heatran is probably important, and like obviously threatening the Smeargle.
Yep. And so I think he also like didn't know what the precise lead was going to come out from Ian because he didn't know the game plan, and like fair enough. When you don't know the game plan, you gotta go Kangaskhan. And I thought Ian was supposed to go Lele Faramosa last 2.
Wait, so Lele Mosa, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like trying to think if he has any Heatran switch-ins, and it's literally just Zard.
No, so he has Wide Guard on Smeargle and Follow Me, so you just play that game. And you get your crit up on Kartana.
Yeah, okay, he needs Faramosa in the back and then Lele to change terrain. I think you're right.
That was my thought. It's like, unless Charizard has HP Ground or Focus Blast, I feel very uncomfortable with the idea of bringing Charizard into a Heatran and just being like, okay, yeah, if you kill my Lele and my Kartana with your Heatran, you win.
Yeah.
Like, that just feels wrong to me.
Do you think the card's SD?
No, it's a Z-Tailwind.
Okay.
That's just what it is.
Right.
So this turn 1, I know Paul's used to using slow Kangaskhan.
Yeah, and then just a bunch of attack.
So maybe you just Z-Tailwind and fake out the Cresselia?
Yeah. I mean, or you could switch to Lele and Spore. Or...
Switching to Lele and Spore is a very bad play, I think.
Well, yeah, I think setting up your cart is probably your best option.
So the reason that switching to Lele and Sporing doesn't work here is because even if you block the fake out, you don't do anything. Cresselia just sits there asleep until it's like, oh, I've woken up, and then sets up Trick Room and you lose. So yeah. I just really don't think switching to Lele is a good way to play this game. I think you're supposed to, like, the way this team works is you set up the cart, and so my idea is you fake out the Cresselia, and then if Paul fakes out the Kartana, you have free Spore, Cresselia, Z-Tailwind next turn.
Mm-hmm.
And if Paul returns a Smeargle, then suddenly you have your Faramosa and your Kartana with crit, and you double the Cresselia, you make Cresselia go away, or you double whatever switches into Cresselia and you make that go away. You have to make that read. And then you just, snowball with your Kartana after that.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah, I think Kart's really the only thing that's putting pressure on Crest. Like, Faramosa can't switch into anything, obviously. Yep. and then like you basically just have card to hit the crest with the 4 we think he's
Yeah,
brought.
and if it's like Charizard or something, the same game plan still works.
Yeah.
You just have to predict Heatran coming in harder. Um, and so that's what I think Ian does. If I'm Paul, I think I just go for Return the Smeargle Trick Room, because I think Smeargle has to fake out. I don't think faking out the Smeargle is the correct way to go about this game. But, actually, no. The correct play is to fake out the Kartana Trick Room.
Yeah, fake out card Trick Room, but then you're vulnerable to Spore.
No, you're not vulnerable to Spore, because your game plan against Spore is to wake up.
I guess, yeah.
You're vulnerable to Spore the Kangaskhan, but Sporing the Kangaskhan is not a play that happens here.
Like, you could wake up, but that means you're setting up Trick Room later, and card's already doing a bunch of damage
You want to set up Trick Room later, though. That's the whole point.
Okay.
The whole point is to set up Trick Room and then just win. And also, like, you're gonna go to sleep at some point. So you can't fake out the Smeargle because you're slow Kangaskhan. You can't return this. The reason I don't want to return the Smeargle, if I know this Kartana's Tailwind, which I'm assuming I do, in my mind right now, since I know the Kartana's Tailwind, the worst thing you can do is kill the useless Pokemon that helps set up Tailwind as Tailwind is set up. That's the way to lose games like 101. You know, it's Drifblim Lele. Lele protects. You kill Drifblim, and then you have to face Lele Garchomp for 3 turns. It's like that is how you lose games.
Yeah, Ian snowballs off that with like a bunch of offensive pressure.
Yeah, and so what you want to do is you want to make, and so Smeargle's going to get a chance to put Cresselia. Wait, no. If he kills, yeah. So Ian's going to get a chance to put Cresselia to sleep. You just let Cresselia sleep. You give it a turn or 2 to wake up, and then you win by getting Trick Room up if you win like the 2/3 chance. That's my theory. Okay, let's see how this turn.
Let's see what he does.
Okay, so Ian does.
He went for the Spore play.
I don't like this. Because
I think
he's just not doing anything.
Spores?
Spore goes into the Cresselia.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
And Paul did just return the Smeargle. So Paul decided, like, I can return the Smeargle, that's fine. He doesn't fake out because his Kangaskhan's slow. Ian doesn't know that Paul runs slow Kangaskhan because he didn't read Paul's report and didn't, like, reflect on it. Or, like,
I don't think Ian cared.
Yeah, and so Paul gets a bunch of mileage out of this turn.
Yeah.
So if I'm
and the crest is citrus, so like it has more longevity.
It has tankiness, and it's already burned a turn of sleep. Like, you are so happy if you're Paul right now. So now it's just Kartana's in, but you've lost a Pokemon. If I'm Paul... Okay, so if I'm Ian, I kind of want to go Psychic the Kang, Leaf Blade the Kang.
Yeah, you get the Beast Boost.
That KO's Kang, and that KO's the Feeny switch in.
Yeah, I mean, really, Kang's... Like, either you have to kill the Kang or you get knocked out, you know?
Yeah. But I think Leaf Blade is correct as opposed to Sacred Sword, because I think Paul is a bit too scared of Sacred Sword to go into Heatran here. So I think you just Psychic Leaf Blade the Kang.
But I feel like you don't really lose much from Sacred Swording anyway.
You lose a turn of sleep.
No, but what could switch in?
Feeny.
Yeah, I guess. No, but then even next turn you still have that pressure. It's the turn of sleep that you lose, but I feel like already... Yeah, you could Leaf Blade.
And if I'm Paul, I think you just sack Kangaskhan here.
Yeah, I feel like don't expect Feeny switching in.
And so if I'm Paul, yeah, I mean, I don't expect Feeny too much switching in, but I think that Psychic and Psychic Terrain plus Leaf Blade KOs Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
And I don't expect Heatran to switch in.
Well, what 4 do you think Paul brought?
I think Paul brings Heatran Feeny last 2.
Okay.
I don't think you bring Kartana into this matchup. And I don't think you bring Scarf Landorus into this matchup. These teams are notoriously very good against Scarf Landorus. Like, Scarf Landorus beats so many offensive teams that the whole point of offensive teams, like, has to be, we also make Scarf Landorus very sad all the time, 100% of the time, never let Scarf Landorus do anything.
That's kind of what the Pheromosa is.
Yeah. So also I wouldn't bring Landorus here. So I
Yeah.
think that Psychic Leaf Blade KOs Kangaskhan. It KOs a potential Feeny switch in if you're expecting Sacred Sword from Paul, and it gets your Kartana Beast boost. And I think if you're Paul, you just sack Kang and then play a 50-50 with. It's not even a 50-50. You just let Cresselia wake up, or you could like Heat Wave next turn. You sack Kang to go into Heat Trend.
Yeah.
And you sack Kang by returning the Lele. Obviously, there's no reason to do anything else.
Yeah. So Ian might get the Beast boost, but I still feel like he doesn't have enough damage to kill the Crest.
Yeah, that's my thinking as well. So then, there's the Fly Z. I do not like this at all.
So now he's like looking at like a 2-4 deficit.
Wait.
Right? No, what?
What? Wait. Did Lele... Oh, I must have skipped the Lele's move.
Very confused.
Okay, I did skip the Lele's move. My bad.
Yeah.
So Lele goes from Moonblast into Cresselia. Because he knows he needs to KO the Cresselia. And then he goes for Z Tailwind. This doesn't make sense. You need to KO Kangaskhan here. Not...
Okay, I don't understand the return on the cart.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Like, if it was a return onto Lele, perfect sense. Like, Paul, you made the play I thought you were going to.
Yeah, I can't tell you why there was a return on Kartana there. But like if he returns Lele, it's fine.
I mean, maybe he was thinking that either Lele like locks into Moonblast or Psychic.
No.
So
I think what Paul was thinking was Kartana is Sash. I break the Sash.
Maybe.
And honestly, that's not unreasonable. No, because Smeargle's Sash.
Right.
Yeah, you always...
Maybe he was just predicting a Pheromosa switch or something.
No, there's no Pheromosa switch that ever happens there. There's a 0% chance Pheromosa switches in.
Yeah, well, there's also zero reason to return the card.
Yeah, I don't claim to understand Paul. I've never said I would be able to understand everything Paul did. But okay, yeah, the return should have been into Lele there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe Paul wanted Lele to still be on the board because he thought that like Kartana, like if Cresselia didn't wake up, then Kartana plus whatever switched in would be able to KO his Cresselia.
Oh, Paul said in chat that he meant to target the Lele. He just pressed A too quickly.
Okay, that makes... I understand Paul Chua a lot more now. that coincides with my understanding of Paul. This game's just over. You just put the moves in the slots. Oh, neither of those KO'd. I still think Paul made the correct play there.
Yeah. Wait, what did Crest go for?
Ice Beam the Kartana.
Right. I forget Crest carry Ice Beam.
Paul's Crest was Ice Beam, Toxic, Psychic, Trick Room.
Yeah, I remember now.
And you don't double the Lele because you think return's gonna KO. You just Ice Beam the Kartana, return the Lele. I think that's just fine.
Yeah.
Hold up, stream. I'll be right back.
All right, guys. Well, I think from this point, Paul pretty much wins.
Sorry about that. Okay, so Paul just put the moves in the slots, and Ian doesn't really have much of a way to win. Yeah. Game 1. Cool.
That was quick.
Yep. So, like I said, Ian was not supposed to go...
Dude.
No, it was never an ally switch read Mao 07 because it was not an ally switch read. You never read ally switch there because it's obviously Scarf Lele. This team would only run Scarf Lele.
And like if he's ally switching, he's not doing anything, which means Crest definitely gets a trick room off.
Well, might get the trick room off. It still hasn't taken any turns of sleep. Okay.
Well, but I meant like eventually, like it burns another turn.
So if I'm Paul, I think I go with the play I suggested, which was Heatran, Cresselia, Feeny, Kangaskhan.
I'm still scared of the Smeargle though.
Yeah, I think the best way to beat Smeargle, and this has like been my policy for a long time, is like you're like, oh, I hate going to sleep. It's just like, well, you just wake up. You know, it's fast sleep. He's gonna put you to sleep, and you immediately burn your turn of sleep. He's gonna try and set up on that turn, and then you just wake up.
And with Crestran, you either like
And
prevent the Trick Room and get heat waved, or you Trick Room gets up and like. Well, actually, Trick Room's not really the best when he turns asleep.
Trick Room does matter actually, like a lot.
But when he turns already asleep, I feel like you can always switch into Feeny anyway though, because everything on Ian's team is fast.
Yeah. So I think that I would go Crestran. If I'm Ian, I think I don't know. I would probably go with the same game plan because from what I've seen, Ian's team has exactly one game plan, and you go for it 100% of games.
I think he might leave Pheromosa.
Shrug.
He could like completely snowball off that depending on his item.
Paul goes Crest Kang. You know, fair enough.
Just same thing. Okay.
I would still go for the play I thought, which was fake out the Kartana Trigger. I would still go for the play from Ian that I expected, which was fake out the Cresselia Z Tailwind. I maintain the same things about this position as I did in Game 1, despite the fact that neither of them made the play I expected them to in Game 1. Yup.
Okay. Yeah.
Yup. Okay, there we go. This is the way Game 1 was supposed to work. Except Paul decided to KO the Smeargle, which is where this goes wrong. So this is precisely where I said this would go wrong.
That's what I thought Paul would do. I thought he would just do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know how Paul works, but I think that, you know, Paul was going to do, like, this play is still bad, because it's fundamentally bad. Not in the sense of, like, it's always bad, but in the sense of this disrespects, like, important game fundamentals that you're supposed to know, which is you don't KO the non-attacking Pokemon that sets up Tailwind when Tailwind goes up. You KO it on turn 2 or 3 of Tailwind.
Yeah.
And also he could just fake out the Kartana and then start getting the Spore off. But then, like, the Spore is good for Cresselia because it burns the time. You know? Cresselia needs to wake up before Smeargle, like, gets KO'd.
I feel like if you just fakes out Cart, the same thing is going to happen the next turn because Smeargle's...
You can... So next turn, Smeargle Spores. You can start, like, chipping the Kartana, and then you Sucker Punch Trick Room.
Okay, it's just fake out damage, dude. It's not...
No. You fake out, and then you return the Kartana, and then you Sucker Punch the Kartana. And then that gives your Cresselia a turn or two to wake up. Yeah. Anyway, this turn, the question is... So this turn, the question is Cresselia switching into Heatran and Kangaskhan attacking? Or can you KO the Cresselia for free? I don't know, dude. What do you think?
Well, Ian wins this game, so he must have called it right.
Well, I know he calls it right. Just tell me which call he makes.
I think he... Dude, I honestly do not know. I think you just... I think Crest switches, maybe, and then you kill the Mosa? I don't really know what
I think you just pick one of the two
options. Or maybe you stay in, because you're like, what can he really do? Just go for a Throat Chop? What was that? That was wild.
Cresselia stayed in.
Wait, what does Throat Chop do again?
It's the dark move that's like 80 base power, and it prevents sound moves.
Why would Pheromosa have it? Like, what for?
Cresselia. Instead of Bug Buzz. Maybe.
No, but like, what does like Throat Chop stop? Like, what moves like that are like?
It stops it might stop clanging scales, but not Z clang. It stops Hyper Voice from Gardevoir.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, dude. I don't pretend to understand this.
Roar, I guess. Okay.
Sure. Lele, Heatran.
So I'm guessing he crits.
Psychic Sacred Sword. Here, I think you Psychic the Kang, you Sacred Sword the Heatran. Paul draws Kang into Fini. Strong. I like that play. Heatran protects. I like that play too. Lele Psychics.
I think he called it. No, okay.
If
There's no reason to.
Yeah, no, you never call anything there. Like, the Fini switch in doesn't matter. This was in fact bad for Paul. I think this was worse for Paul than just Heat Waving.
I agree. Now you get a free double tap into
Now
Heatran.
you free double the Heatran, yeah. Okay.
What?
Sure. Does Kartana +1 always KO Heatran?
No? Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, dude. I don't think it
I
does,
didn't know that.
It looks really bulky, right?
Yeah, Heatran just looks like a fat mom.
No. Kartana looks really bulky. It's 152 HP.
I knew that's what you meant, but like, I just, yeah.
I hate you, Raghav. Get off my stream. Never allowed on here. No, so I just don't know why you wouldn't double the Heatran there. Like, it's just safe. Just double the Heatran.
I agree.
There's just no risk to doubling the Heatran.
I agree with you.
Like, nothing can go wrong. Yeah, okay. So
also, Kart's probably adamant or something.
Oh, that did 1 billion damage.
Yeah, I think it's just adamant.
But it's 100. It's like 140 HP investment. But like maybe no special defense investment.
Yeah, I don't know what his spread could possibly be for.
Okay, I guess the Kartana is not bulky.
Maybe it's for like taking psychics from Lele or something.
Hey, I just want you to know, Fake Out returns Sucker Punch damage on this Kartana. That's at least 60 HP.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so Paul can still win this game. So if you double the Lele here correctly, I think you just win. I think you have a very good chance of winning. If you double the Lele and Kartana protects, then you can go Sucker Punch Moonblast into like Sucker Punch Mind Games.
Well, why wouldn't you just kill the Kang? Oh, because it protects.
Because Fake Out Moonblast KOs Kartana and then you win.
Gotcha. No, I was just thinking right now. Oh, yeah. This is
Fake
actually
Out is live.
Paul can still win, yeah.
Yeah, Paul can very much still win. So I think you just pick if the Kartana protects, and if you pick if the Kartana protects correctly, you win. I have no clue what Kartana is doing here. I just literally have no idea. I think Ian just like flips a coin.
I agree.
And heads you win, tails you lose. And Ian psychics the Fini.
Wait, this is actually pretty rough.
It's a coin.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
This is a terrible, terrible play. This is the worst play possible from Paul.
Yeah, I think return's just better there.
Did Fini get its special defense dropped?
I didn't pay attention.
Just gonna watch this real fast. Did around 40%.
So.
Nope. Okay.
I don't think so.
That was no special defense drop. And Fini definitely takes a psychic from here.
Of course.
Paul.
It's okay. He probably won game 3 or something.
This is one of the worst plays I've seen in a long time. So like you're allowed to call this play wrong. You know, if you make the wrong call, I can't blame you. You know, if you looked at this and said, you flip a coin, oh, I think Kartana's attacking, and you fake out Moonblast the Kartana, all due respect. You know,
so he gave himself no opportunities to win.
Yes, Paul's play always loses. Unless he crits Sucker Punch next turn. Wait, no. No, Paul can still win. Yeah, Paul can still. No. Sucker Punch doesn't KO Kartana from here.
Yeah, how does he win?
Yeah. Paul can't. Paul
Wait, does Sucker KO?
No, Sucker doesn't KO. He needs to crit Sucker.
Okay.
Also, Paul didn't Moonblast the Lele. Like, I don't get this.
Wait, yeah. Maybe he's going for an act drop.
He does get the act drop, but like that doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand this play at all. Okay, Paul can still win if he Sucker Punches the Kartana and protects the Feeny, and Kartana goes for the Feeny.
Yeah.
And otherwise, he can just Muddy Water and win the game. So Paul can still win another 50-50.
I don't think he does.
I mean, I don't think he does either. But that fake out return.
Or maybe he.
Hold on.
You know, he loses.
That fake out. Wait, does the fake out Muddy Water make sense? So Paul says, I accept. No. The fake out Muddy Water doesn't make sense. I like the Muddy Water though. I do like the Muddy Water. Because Muddy Water says if you Muddy Water says I will also give myself an out to win this game if you target down the
Kang.
The Kang with your Kartana.
Well, no. Why wouldn't you just? Wait, the Lele was at max HP, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then it's fine. Muddy Water Return makes the most sense to me.
No. Yes. Yeah. Muddy Water Return makes the most sense to me.
All right, see what happens.
So. Okay, Paul goes for Muddy Water and misses.
Wait, he can still win.
No, he can't. The game's over. Oh, yeah, he can still win.
No,
But, this is one of the worst played games I've ever seen.
Wait, if he Sucker Punch.
He won!
Wait.
I don't know. Okay, Paul's in chat, right? Paul, are you in chat?
He might have left out of embarrassment.
Paul, come back. Someone tweet at Paul. Everyone in the chat, I want you to get on Twitter right now and make Paul get on Discord so we can talk about this game too.
All 12 of you, tweet at him.
Hey, I think there is slightly more than 12. There's 11. There are 11 viewers.
Slightly more, I see.
Oh, Paul never left. Okay, Paul. What on earth is going on in this game? I do not understand what your thought process was on the last two turns, not the last two turns of the game, but like the 2 turns before the last turn of the game. No, but why wouldn't you just Muddy Water there? Like Muddy Water wins.
Does Muddy Water kill the cart?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, then either a Sucker Punch or a Muddy Water wins. Wow, I did not expect Muddy Water to kill.
No, returning the Kartana I respect.
Wait, are you sure?
Okay, so Moonblast.
Do the math.
Kartana was at full HP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kartana was at full HP. So Moonblast did 92 damage. So in order to win, you need to do 2/3 of the damage. 2/3 of 2/3 of 95 base power is 60, like 1.5-ish.
Okay, yeah, then it does.
And Muddy Water's power when it's spread is 67.5.
67.5.
So Muddy Water does KO Kartana. Probably. You know, accounting for damage rolls.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So that Moonblast was
Wait,
fine.
no, wait. Yeah, no, you're right. I lied.
And so, Paul, I also don't get this fake out muddy water play.
He says I'll just blame it on being nervous.
Yeah, no, I'm reading that. It's just like this fake out muddy water play makes no sense to me because like I can respect picking wrong. Picking wrong is something very reasonable against offensive teams. Lots of people pick wrong, but you have to commit to being right when you pick right. I think. On the other hand, fake out the Lele muddy water fully punishes Kartana, Leaf Blade, and Kangaskhan, but I don't think it beats anything else. Except for the play Ian makes next turn if you Sucker Punch.
Yep.
But I think, if you Muddy Water here first, like, I don't know what Muddy Watering here does if you don't think Muddy Water kills Kartana. So, like, if you don't think Muddy Water kills Kartana, you should Moonblast here. But if you're Moonblasting, you Moonblast the Lele.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to return the Lele.
But you're also just supposed to return the Lele and win the game.
Anyway, let's watch Ian hit Psychic.
No, let's watch Game 3.
Okay.
Okay, so from Paul, I still want to see the same lead. I still think Heatran Cresselia is pretty good. From Ian, I expect to see exactly the same lead.
Oh my god.
But Kang Cress is fine. Okay, Paul leads Cress Lando for some reason. I have no clue what's going on anymore. Why does Paul go Cress Lando? I guess the idea is you force Landorus puts damage into the Kartana as well, and it's spread damage. But now Smeargle can just go Spore the Cresselia, Z Tailwind, and then Kartana KOs Landorus, and then you get the Beast, and then you're at neutral. That's fine. Yeah, okay, I guess this is fine because this gives Cresselia a lot of sleep turns. I think this is actually a really good lead. And you just Earthquake. Trick Room. Okay. You don't. Also, Ian didn't Spore the Cresselia. Ian faked out the Cresselia. I guess he wants to Spore the Cresselia when Tailwind's up, so I guess that's fine as well. You fake out the Cresselia and then you Spore it, because you get the Spore later. Yeah. That makes sense to me. Rog, have you there? Smeargle gets moody for the first time. I don't understand this game plan. What is Paul's game plan? I guess you want Cresselia to get slept for as little as possible. So here you fake out Smeargle and you Trick Room, right? I don't think there's any other play to make. And you let Ian switch in Lele. So Ian has to go for this, otherwise he just loses. But then you just wake up. Wake up. Yep, fake out. You just let the fake out happen. You just make this trade. This is a very, very good trade for you if you're Paul. Because now you've burned a turn of sleep. And now you just... I think you just return the Lele. Because you don't want Smeargle to be doing things. And Smeargle's also just going to Spore you. You do anything but Sucker Punch. Yeah, so Moonblast goes into Cresselia, does 3. Spore goes into Kang, that's fine. You don't care. Kang's fast asleep. Cresselia's fast asleep. And look, Ian's here just doing nothing. This is very, very strong. Especially because Paul has Citrus Berry, which has so far been unrevealed. Smeargle switches into Kartana, because you need to switch out Smeargle to allow yourself to do things. Lele Moonblast the Cresselia, but Kartana's already switched out of its boost. Cresselia reveals Citrus Berry, gets a ton of HP left. Kang wakes up, returns the Kartana, because you don't want Smeargle to be doing things. Cresselia is still fast asleep. So that's a 3-turn sleep on Cresselia. Not very lucky from Paul. I like the return on Smeargle. I like the overall game plan. I think it's very smart. Here you want to frustrate. You want to return the Lele this next turn. For sure. There's nothing else you ever want to do here besides return the Lele and Trick Room. You could switch into maybe like a Heatran or something, but just force Ian to double the Cresselia, and you should be fine. Ian crits. Return into the Lele. Now you go Landorus. You return Superpower. Ian has to switch Kartana into Smeargle here, or into Pheromosa or something. Okay, Paul just switches into Heatran. Don't know why. That did not work out well for Paul at all. But you can just Heat Wave here, so that's fine. You can Heat Wave and switch into Kangaskhan. I think this is a fine position. Yeah. I'm not worried about this at all. Heat Wave and switch into Kangaskhan is very reasonable. And Ian doesn't really have much counterplay to that. Yeah, so there's the switch into Kangaskhan. Ian has to double this Landorus slot, but the Kangaskhan slot, but that doesn't do anything. And also, it's like, okay, he does do it. Nice. Well played. Heat Wave goes off. Double knockouts. Pharaoh. Smeargle. This is hard because Smeargle has Wide Guard. The Pheromosa hates going for High Jump Kick. So I think you Rock Slide and Earth Power the Smeargle. Yep. And then 2 single target Rock Slides should clean the game up. If Pheromosa had gone for an attack into Landorus, that would have worked out really well, like Throat Chop. I think Throat Chopping the Landorus actually made the most sense there, because you don't know if High Jump Kick KOs, you know Throat Chop, like if you can KO Landorus, you KO Landorus there, because Landorus is almost, this play is the thing that Paul will always do, and if you KO Landorus, then Pheromosa just KOs Heatran. So I think this was a very poor play from Ian. He probably should have won this game. But he didn't because he played it poorly. He did get the 3-turn sleep, though. That was very fortunate for him. Paul just has to hit Rock Slide. Okay. Well, that's it for me. We analyzed 2 pretty quick sets. Had Raghav on, then Raghav left. Thanks for watching, guys.